As Abraham grew older, the focus of his life shifted from his own journey of faith to ensuring that God's covenant promise would continue through his son Isaac. The long-awaited heir had finally been given, but the future of the covenant depended on careful steps, especially concerning Isaac's marriage and the protection of the promise. Abraham's later years reflect his role less as a wanderer and more as a wise patriarch securing his legacy. The death of Sarah, Genesis 23. Sarah, Abraham's beloved wife and partner through decades of waiting and wandering, lived 127 years before passing away at Hebron. Her death grieved Abraham deeply. The text describes his mourning and then his careful negotiation with the Hittites for a burial site. Though they offered to give him land, Abraham insisted on paying the full price for the cave of Machpelah near Mamre, Genesis 23:16. This purchase was more than an act of grief. It symbolized Abraham's faith. Though he did not yet possess Canaan, he buried Sarah in land that belonged legally to him. This secured a permanent stake in the very territory God had promised his descendants. The cave of Machpelah became the ancestral tomb of the patriarchs and matriarchs, rooting Abraham's family in the promise of the land. Finding a wife for Isaac, Genesis 24. After Sarah's death, Abraham turned to the future. Isaac had grown into manhood, and his marriage was essential for continuing the covenant line. Abraham refused to let Isaac marry a Canaanite, fearing the corruption of the covenant family by idolatry. Instead, he sent his chief servant, likely Eliezer, back to Mesopotamia to find a wife from among his relatives. The servant prayed earnestly for God's guidance at a well near the town of Nahor. His prayer was precise. The chosen woman would offer him water willingly and then extend kindness to his camels. Genesis 24:12-14. Almost immediately, Rebekah, the granddaughter of Abraham's brother Nahor, appeared and fulfilled these very signs. Recognizing God's hand, the servant worshipped and gave thanks. Rebekah agreed with faith and courage to leave her home and journey to Canaan. When she arrived, Isaac welcomed her, taking her into Sarah's tent, and she became his wife. Genesis 24:67. The text notes that Isaac loved her and was comforted after the loss of his mother. This marriage confirmed that God's covenant line would continue. Abraham's other descendants, Genesis 25:1-6. In his later years, Abraham married another wife named Keturah, who bore him 6 sons: Zimran, Jokshan, Medan, Midian, Ishbak, and Shua. These sons became founders of tribes spread across Arabia and regions beyond. Through them, Abraham truly became the father of many nations, Genesis 17-4. Despite these children, Abraham made clear that Isaac was the heir of God's covenant.